Hey, it's Jessie from Peach Manifesto, and this is my stamping tips and tricks plus bonus stamping fun. So I'm going to start off with supplies. My favorite is the Big Bling stamper, but I have used this other stamper. It was just a cheap one off AliExpress, and I used it. I loved it. I prefer the Big Bling because it doesn't have the bottom and it works better. I love the Born Pretty scrapers. They work really, really well. I like to keep my drawer super organized so I know where everything is, and I can pull out those cotton pads and set them beside me. I have everything organized in books so my stamping plates are easy to find. The lint roller is key for cleaning off, and I have a ton of stamping polishes. I really like the Sally Hansen Insta-Dry. So this plate and a bunch of the next plates I'm showing you are very cheap, and they do not seem like they're very well etched, but they do stamp. The key is to move very quickly because they're not as deeply etched. You have less polish to work with, and so it dries faster, and so you need to pick it up quickly while it's wet and stamp it down quickly. If you can tell, I used kind of like a quick flick of the wrist. I didn't press very hard when I was picking it up, but I did press down pretty firmly on the nail. And I am always cleaning my plates before I use them and after, and as you can see, like, it's stamped really well. It was a super cheap plate, and it's definitely usable. And same with this one. This one did not seem like it was very well etched. I was really excited to get it because I thought it had some funky images on it. And but like I said, if you have everything set out and prepared, and you work quickly, one tip I'll say, especially for the edges, if you go in or out on the edge and not up or down on the edge of a plate, it seems to work better. And yeah, just that quick flick of the wrist and stamp down. Then this plate I got at Born Pretty. It is etched very well. I find a lot of the Born Pretty plates are etched really well, and like I said, I have everything all laid out. It's all ready to go. Quick flick of the wrist and stamp. It is better to roll on almost, but you can just push down and it usually is fine. I don't have a problem either way that I do it. And again, for a side image, kind of just scraping out to the side. And you'll notice I quickly take off the excess parts of the image that I don't want with my finger. Some people use the scraping tool, some people use their fingernail. It's all up to you, whichever is easier and fastest for you. And then this plate I actually got from AliExpress. I was sure it was not going to stamp at all. There are parts of it that seem well etched and other parts of it that seem like not etched at all. And it's totally random. There's Easter, there's Christmas, yeah, so with this one, I kind of like to pull the polish in a little bit and almost let it sit for a second. For some reason, just blobbing the polish into the image almost seems to get a better result than doing like a thin stripe and then scraping it across. And you will notice I do that with the snowflakes as well. Another thing I will mention is you can see that there's streakiness across the plate, even though I just did one scrape and there's streaks across. You will notice that those streaks don't pick up. It only picks up the etched image, even if it's just a finely etched image. I find most people's problems with stamping is they do more than one scrape, or they over scrape. It's about getting that right pressure, the right angle, and one good solid scrape. And as you can see, even though it's the super cheap plate, it did stamp okay. And this one is a very cheap plate, but it is also very well etched. I think I only paid $3 for it, and I do use this one a lot. And this is kind of gonna, I wish I would have got a better shot of how this didn't work out. On a side image, you can almost see the very edge of it. There's just too much there, and it kind of picked it up. So the fix for that, as I keep saying, is when you have an edge image, is to either scrape in or out towards the plate, not up and down, because there is like a slight bevel on the plate, and for some reason it's just harder to pick up the polish when you scrape the other way. And again, this one stamps amazingly, and I love, like, I've use a bunch of different stamping polishes, mostly Sally Hansen, but I do use some Essie and some Captions, and I feel like a lot of different polishes work as long as you find that they're pretty pigmented. And I'm going in with that Essie polish again. And for a nice big image like this, I like to let it pool in again and just do the super light scrape. And you can see there's streaks across there and they don't pick up. It's just the circle that picks up. So don't worry about all that excess stuff. It generally just never picks up unless it's just like tons of it. And this is a clear jelly stamper plate. Of course, it's the collab with Manisha. And I love this plate. I love a lot of the clear jelly stamper plates. They are expensive, but they are worth it. And in saying that, I did show you a ton of really cheap plates that stamp well, but I feel like there's price points for everybody, and there's images you're gonna like on different plates. So kind of do what you want, I guess. And with this one, I kind of just picked a bunch of random colors that I haven't used in a while. And you might see in some of the images, I'm kind of like pumping the polish a little bit. I think that's a problem some people have too, is that their polish isn't mixed. I do shake my polishes before I use them, and I'll even give them that extra little pump just to make sure that they're like well mixed. If your polish is been sitting around for a while, it might need a little bit of shake or stir just to get that pigment up and going well. And yeah, as you can see, I'm just doing that quick flick of the wrist, light pressure, stamp down, and just continue the same pattern. And I think once you get into like a really good pattern, your speed is good. It's like very quick art. And I'm constantly cleaning my plate through and my stamper through just so that there's no like bits in the way, like polish bits in the way. And they've all been turning out really nice. And some kind of like fun things I like to do when I'm stamping is gradients, and I like to lay out all my polishes, make sure they're all open, because you do want to be quick. The Insta dries do dry fast, and for some reason that seems to help the stamping work well with the fast dry polishes. They just seem really pigmented, and they dry fast, so you don't have to worry about the polish drying for too long before you put on your top coats and things as well. So yeah, this is a gradient, so I'm going very lightly, kind of like blending them a little bit back and forth, and then do one quick scrape at the end, pick up, and you can see it's super streaky on the plate, but it still just picked up the etched image. So don't worry about stuff left over on the plate, and just stamp it down. And I tried to get different angles, so I hope that you like it. And that turned out really beautiful. I love the way it turned out. And I'm going to use that exact same plate and just do two, just to kind of show you that the same plate and like two of the same colors can give you like such a nice image as well. And again, I'm just constantly cleaning off that nail scraper, nail plate, just to make sure that everything, the polish gets in really deep into the etch. And honestly, the two ombre or gradient, whatever you want to call it, is a little bit easier than the three. I just want to mention that all the stamping clips in this video are in real time. I haven't sped up or slowed anything down. This is the speed that I stamp in and that I'm comfortable in. And just to show you, this image looks beautiful. I have the same plate and two of the similar colors. It just gives it a different look. Another fun trick I learned, I think I saw this on Instagram, but it just kind of goes to show you that with the one quick scrape, nothing's going to really blend in. So I'm just filling in the roses with red, and then I'm going in with my green and doing the leaves, and I'm just going to do one quick scrape, and you'll see that the image transfers beautifully. And you don't necessarily need to have like the layered plates for the kind of different things. If you can kind of get quick at laying down those colors and just doing that good scrape. You do want to be quick laying down the colors, or just use a lot of product so that it doesn't dry quickly. And you can see it looks beautiful. I like this technique. I think it's really cool. So these are the images all together. I hope that I showed you that even with like different price points of plates, you can still stamp, even if they seem like not as etched. It is possible to get good plates that aren't that expensive, and even the expensive ones are really awesome to use. I'm not knocking them at all. Also, if you can see, I am covered in polish because I like to move quickly and just get that polish off. Anyway, I hope you like this video. I hope you learned something. Please like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.